Realism versus fun is always a debate going into a new Battlefield title, and with the development of the next generation squad weapons by various militaries around the world, more specifically in this case the US military, I wanted to discuss some of the purposes of body armor and the weapons in the game and delivering an authentic feel of near futuristic combat in 2042. Now before we start the video, don't forget that if you enjoyed to leave it a nice, thick, and juicy like as always, and of course if you know this kind of content, you want more like it, be sure to hit that big red sexy subscribe button right underneath the video. Also gotta say I've been streaming a ton lately. If you want to swing by and say hi, be sure to hit that notification bell. Last but not least, gotta thank my channel members. You guys help make these videos possible. If you want to join, get access to the exclusive perks that they get, and be sure to check out that blue join button. Anyway, let's begin. So like I was saying, the next generation squad weapons, these weapons are being developed and you can see them in Battlefield 2042 promo material, most specifically the M5A3 that I'm sure we've all noticed. It was shown off probably the most in the Irish gameplay kind of snippet that we saw. And Irish, of course, is kind of at the center of this whole conversation anyway, because we are going to be discussing the implications of body armor. But first, these next generation squad weapons are being chambered in 6.8mm rounds. Now I could get into all the specifics about it, but essentially the US military of today feels like the 5.56 just isn't lethal enough as more and more combatants are using this higher tier body armor on the battlefield. And so when DICE is trying to make a game about near futuristic combat and they're including guns like this that are designed to combat the use of said body armor, should body armor be included in the game in some kind of a way to deliver that authentic feel? Are there pros and cons to this sort of a thing? And again, this is where this realism versus fun conversation comes into play. Essentially, where do we draw the line? Now for the pro armor people, you could say that it adds a layer of strategy and consideration when entering combat, and approaching a situation recklessly could have you turned on and killed. As we know, Battlefield does have a little bit more thinking involved than a game like, say, Call of Duty, which is more of like a popcorn shooter. You could also say that it could be used to stifle certain weapons in CQB, like those shotgun campers. Instead of just one-shotting you from their dark little corner that they're cuddling up, they may not be able to do so if you have body armor on, and then you can turn on them and eliminate them. And then of course, it does add that layer of authenticity. As I said, more and more combatants around the globe are getting access to some form of high-tier body armor, and could including it in the game help with the authenticity and realism of it. On to the other side of the argument, the anti-body armor side. Does this level of realism matter? And personally, I just don't think that it does. At the end of the day, I just see armor plating acting as attrition from Battlefield 5. And instead of just healing all the way back up in combat, you have to go out of combat onto some little side quest, really just a chore, to make sure that you get back to full health. And I don't see that as fun. I play this game to get into firefights. I play this game to be in the action. I don't want to leave the action to do something as simple as get back to what is essentially full health. Let's also not forget that this is a video game that we're playing, so fun should take priority in almost every single situation. A big precedent for this is with the most recent two titles in the series, Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, and they contrast each other greatly in this department. Battlefield 1 is designed for fun in almost every case over realism. You don't sit in trenches and get hosed by machine guns or bombarded by artillery every single match, because that would be miserable. You move around, you use weapons that were mostly prototypes, and the atmosphere is what delivers the authentic feel, whether it is just the absolutely obliterated hellscapes that are these beautiful maps, or if it's the uniforms of each specific faction that portrays the faction authentically and shows homage to some of the lesser known stories of the war, such as, say, the African German troops that are portrayed as the African sniper on the German team. The atmosphere of BF1 is rivaled by almost no game on the market. Now, on the other hand, you have Battlefield 5, and Battlefield 5 went so far in the other direction it's almost hilarious and also extremely painful whenever you play the game. In BF5, simple things like getting back to full health become a chore. Like I already said about the armor plating, in BF5 with attrition, you have to leave combat in an already slow-paced game, go and get health, just like if there's no medic around, you have to go way away from the combat to get full health, or just wait until you die so you can just hold out, which honestly, how skill based is it that you lose gunfights simply because you can't regen full health? You stop and you regen as far as you can, and then you go get into another gunfight and you lose purely because you're not at full health. How is that fun? And at the same time, how is it fun to just leave the whole situation and go get health? It's not. It's terrible and it's boring and it only takes away from the game. Then there's the horrific visibility possibility because Realism, on top of that, there are the prone-only weapons because, again, Realism, which is a combination that why would you put it in a video game? I don't know why. I honestly don't know how it made it through testing, but that is just not a great set of ideas. You see, the thing with Battlefield is it is an arcade shooter at the end of the day. Sure, it's not Call of Duty, it's a very different experience, but the amount of ridiculous things that you can do in the game lends itself to have you believe that it is not a MilSim. If you want to get into a hardcore server and treat it that way, that's up to you, and with Portal, I'm sure you can set it up that way, but in the main game itself, mechanically, it should lend it to where anyone can hop in the game and have a good time with it, and simple things should encourage you to get into the action, the chaos, the insanity. That is what Battlefield is about. And when very simple mechanics, very core mechanics of the game are changed to take you out of the chaos and out of the combat and out of the action, then that is a problem when the whole game is about that specific thing. So I don't understand that decision. And you know what? I don't even need much to back it up. Just look at how each game was received and how each one sold and how many players stuck around for each one. So beyond that, I pass the conversation on to you. Should body armor be included in a significant way, or should it be implemented like we've seen in some of the Irish trailers where it's only about 10 health points, which is very similar to how it was implemented in BF4, so it's really like one extra shot in most cases, and it's not something that he's really passing out? Or do you think that there should be a specialization or some kind of a specialist that can pass out body armor? Should it be included in a significant manner? And just let me know what you think down below. Let's have a conversation. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.